Welcome back YouTubers to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories, and as well as basically giving you tips and advice along the way with general health versus your mental health. It's been put to my attention, as I said before, that there's going to be a few series up on my channel right now of the Vlogmas. Some will be related to Christmas, some will not, but some of it in which I'm hoping to share and keep importance, especially, and some of the ones that are relative to what I share with you all, which I've already shared, which was the Asperger's syndrome and autism Christmas tips and advice along the way with the, giving on what to give for people with autism. So this one's going to be surviving Christmas with your mental health, and it's going to be broken into two parts. Obviously, one will be based on your anxiety and depression, and this one hopefully overall will be just your mental health structure. So these will be obviously based on tips and advice, and in saying this, that as we know Christmas is fast approaching, that we tend to stress over the weeks leading up to Christmas, thinking, what are we doing, where are we going and whatnot and the like, and sometimes it can tend to overwhelm us to the state of our mental health gets all fuzzy and everything else, and we're not taking good care of ourselves. So it's really important that we should be looking after ourselves as well as others around us that we love and care for, be it our family, friend members and whatever else. So in saying this, let's begin this with the tips. So number one is to maybe save money leading up to Christmas so that you don't hopefully fully stretched out for cash if need be. If you're the kind of person that wanted to be handing cash out and saying that in hand, maybe a good idea for the tip and advice here is maybe get some vouchers in advance, or get the presents in advance earlier in the year if you can afford to do so, basically, and then just hopefully remember where you store them for the rainy day when Christmas is fast approaching for you. Another one is also, when it comes down to it, is you can also, to ease the burden, is just to make sure that within that budget range, if you had a budget within the year, to stick to it, even though sometimes we can't always guarantee to keep that budget, but it's always, good to do so, because obviously the financial burdens and stresses that comes with it, and not keeping to a budget, swiping around our cash book, returning it through, or just, spending money that we don't have. Another tip and advice is here is someone suggested is the Secret Santa, with family and friends. We'll keep to a, price limit through with this, Secret Santa to buy the gifts, so to speak. Another two is basically setting some boundaries for yourself and your loved ones. Basically, I know for a fact that many people will think that, this is just, not a good thing, but this is how I go about it. We sometimes can't help and cringe at one given time, whatever it may be, that we've all been there, overstepping a mark, or our own boundaries, or being on the receiving end with someone else, and then knowing, what triggered it in the first place, or the causes and whatnot, to cause the arguments and the stresses and that along the way, So obviously, boundaries is a personal property line that marks those things for which we are responsible for. There are two types of boundaries: your external and your internal boundaries. External boundaries gives us the physical distance from others, and the internal boundaries, however, are what help us to take the full responsibility for our own action, thoughts, feelings and behaviors, as well as to help us keep them distinct from those of others around us, as well as respecting people's boundaries is important here too. It's clear basically that we need to know basically when to do about it. I know it's not easy said and done sometimes for us, but hey, we can be in charge of what we feel, how we feel, what we think, what we say, based on our attitudes, thoughts and choices, as well as the behaviors of what we let into our lives, regardless from those around us as well. He say, obviously, managing the stress while maintaining our peace with others, of the practical ways that we can shift the idea of boundaries from theory to practice. So I want to give you quick tips on this. One, prioritize and cut out the rest. Setting boundaries can reduce anxiety, stress, and everything else that is the negative vibes forces upon us from the external and internal. It helps us feel in charge of our own life when you are clear within yourself and others about what to expect and what you are and aren't comfortable. There tends to be less anticipation of anxiety and the what if scenarios that may come with it. Are you stressed out about giving your in-laws for Christmas Eve dinner because you don't have the time, basically, or is it because you're anxious about interacting with them, or even that you have something else you'd rather be doing? You can set some good boundaries, or you can't set some good boundaries if you don't know where you're standing on. So we need to identify, obviously, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual limits. What can we tolerate and accept? What makes us feel uncomfortable and stressed? And if you can't cut stressful things out, such as family, out entirely, develop a game plan for coping with stress. For example, basically, that overbearing family members can cause stress, however, so developing a plan like colouring or some sort of escape plan. With so many adults colouring books available, obviously you can have one just to, take the time out for yourself. Number 2, obviously, within saying this, is managing our expectations and learning to say no. Obviously, learning to kindly say no is important, obviously. Have you ever said yes when you really meant no and realised that the fact that you had the freedom to choose, regardless of the decision you were making at that given moment of time during that pressure? Believe you me, you're not alone. Everyone has done it, no matter what. When it comes to setting boundaries, the biblical charge to let your yeses be yeses and noes be noes rings true and holds true. Agreeing to one thing means you're foregoing something else. Let's not make this a habit this season, however, for Christmas, and make sure that we can have the time to say no when we feel to. We gain tremendous freedom when we say no without any guilt or any yes with any resentment. A classic example I want to share with you also, if you had a family member that wanted to come over and open presents with you and your kids, if you've got kids, yet you planned on something, spending the morning with just your partner and your kids, recognize that your desire is valid, recognize that also that family member's desire is also valid. Make a different game plan, however, perhaps say we'd love to open gifts together, but we decided as a family to have the morning to ourselves this year. And then maybe compromise that by, would you like to join us at 1 p.m. and we can save opening some of the gifts until then? And would you like to have lunch together afterwards? Saying no in any formal way make you less bristle, especially for a sensitive person, but communicating your limits and talking about expectations in a kind but assertive manner becomes easier over time. Another one is exercise and explore. Obviously, here in New Zealand, while we're heading into summer, obviously we're in summer now, there are many activities we can do to enjoy ourselves, to get that fresh air and to exercise and whatnot. We can go out bush, we can go swimming, we can kayak, we can do anything we please, however, and that is important as well, just to have that in mind as well. Sleep is important here, obviously, in saying this, basically. Sleep in this time of year is important, especially for some of us that really get stressed out, even though, it doesn't mean that we should be sleeping all day, every day, but things, each to their own, hearsay. But getting that 7 to 8 hours or even 9 hours a day is real important. Another tip here is your you time. You are also important. You need to be kinder to yourself as well as to the others around you, because obviously if you don't, you get yourself burned out and burned down into the crisp, and then to that point where, hello, what did we do to ourselves? Another one in saying this is in the you time or boundary setting is if and can socialize. I know not many people like to socialize, but don't try and force yourself to socialize if you feel you're not ready or you feel you don't want to, because obviously at the end of the day, people should obviously understand where you are at with your mental health or wherever you are at in life in general, because obviously at this point of time everyone is different. So socializing can be important though with your friends and family, as you're likely to miss out. And in saying this though, with the socialization, it's only for probably Christmas period as well as maybe New Year's period until you want to kick back and relax and have that you time again of yourself. Reflect and move on. This one is one of, you can look back into what you did at the beginning of the year, basically through to the end of the year, see if you've made any achievements, set some goals. Maybe if you haven't achieved any goals that you were setting, maybe set them for 2018. In saying this though, make sure you're being positive and motivated into those goals. Positivity and motivation is key to the success of anything, regardless what it is. And also in saying this, how I look at it is when you're looking back at it with the goal sets, you know, I think I've done one about setting goals in one of my mental health pages in my channel. I'll have a look into it and may link it up if you guys would like to see that. Number, I don't know what I'm up to, is pay it forward. Sometimes it's good to feel good, you know, just make sure that you're not doing it for the higher good of just wanting something in return for yourself, you know, from that other person. Just realize that, you know, if you're giving your time to someone else and someone else can't give you what you want, just be sure that you can just, you know, be acceptable about that. Just being there for someone over Christmas time maybe is a good thing. Going out volunteering, just doing whatever you can that will, you know, pay it forward for you later on for yourself. Sometimes when it comes down to it, with the stressful period, we tend to take a lot on ourselves regardless, and we seem to stress ourselves out, and we tend to feel that we should be the only one on board doing all the work, even though this is not 100% true. If you have family and friends, regardless of whatever it may be, you know, maybe you can get them to come on board and actually help you with the delegation of certain set tasks and that for others, so it can reduce the stress and anxiety for you. Another one is it's okay to ask for help. As we know, there is a lot of mental health services out there and mental health support networks, be it on Facebook and other places here in New Zealand. I'll link them up in the description below if need be, so to speak. So this quickly is my uptake of surviving mental health on Christmas Day with tips and advice. Give me the like for thumbs up for support, comment below. Feel free to share your experiences or tips if you've got any below as well. Feel free to follow me on my social media sites. I upload hopefully on the daily, Monday to Friday, but if not, it'll be 3 days a week. But don't forever fret, just keep your ears peeled through all means of, if you're following me on my social media through Twitter, Facebook, or what have you. I'll be popping up now and again also in some, you know, pages that I'm on to give you guys support. So without further ado, guys, thanks for the support, thanks for watching, do what you love it, do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.